Balloon Beats.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy, with Jalen tonight. Let's go, boys. How are we doing?
We're doing great. You said let's go, boys. I'm assuming you're talking to people in the chat because, Pat, I hate to inform you, but there is only one of them.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, So, moving on. I don't have anyone else with me right now. So, we just finished up a podcast talking about Amir Garrett, right? That will be out tomorrow, 12 p.m. Peep the Unhinged Yankees YouTube channel for that. But we got some other news to talk about. Brian Cashman. But all right, let's just start off by saying this man put Gary Sanchez on blast. Like, if there was any other, this was probably the nicest way of Cashman telling Gary, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Let's kind of like break down what he said. Gary came out, I think it was like a month ago, said he was confused as to why he was benched in the postseason, right? So this was essentially Brian Cashman's response, and he basically just said, "You were horrible last season. I don't know why you were confused." Right?
I mean, is he wrong? Like, I feel like I've been waiting for someone to finally, I don't know if this will light a fire under Gary, but something had to be said about his inconsistency, his lack of just effort. He's lazy. I think he's a very talented player, and he's shown that. But, bro, this guy has been just such a drag on the team, and I'm tired of it. So I'm glad someone finally said something, because we fired Joe Girardi for doing this.
Yeah.
And now Cashman's doing it himself. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah, no, I'm confused too. It's mind-boggling. I mean, I was confused when Brian Cashman did this with Gleyber Torres and said he showed up to summer camp out of shape.
Yeah.
So we're basically firing Joe Girardi for the same thing that these guys are doing now.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. I'm wearing, anybody asking about the A's hat, I'm wearing the A's hat because the Yankees are now the new Moneyball team in the MLB. So
That's true.
I just want to be representative of my team correctly, because wearing a traditional Yankees hat would not be appropriate at this time.
That's true. Jalen, see, great minds think alike, because I was thinking the same exact thing.
I'm just saying, man. It's
just saying.
That's how.
All right. So, also, what we missed while we were gone, Nolan Arenado is a St. Louis Cardinal.
Well,
I think that they got him. Not officially, but I think it's one of those things where, like, it's gonna happen. It's happening.
Sure.
So, what do you think about it? Because I think it's a great deal for the Cardinals.
I think that I saw this thing on Twitter, and it was basically saying, like, the Cardinals called the Rockies and said, "Hey, can we have your franchise player who's probably the best player in your franchise's history?"
Yeah.
And the Rockies would say no, and then the Cardinals would say, "Well, how about you pay us $50 million also?" And the Rockies is like, "Okay, deal." Like, It makes no sense. I don't understand these teams. I get that the Rockies aren't great. I understand that they're not in a position to compete, contend at all. I know that the Padres look amazing. I know that the Dodgers are the best team in baseball for like the 10th year in a row now.
I think the Padres could give them a run for their money, though.
I think so too, but I'm
Yeah.
not betting against them until I see it on the field because
Sure.
they still need health. They still need guys to be consistent. They need Tatis to prove that he's consistent. Like they have a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
They rotate, but they're scary, man. And I think the Rockies see all that, and I think that they're kind of saying like, okay, if we're gonna rebuild, now would be the time to do so. But if you're gonna rebuild, like, I don't know, man. I feel like they could have gotten a much better package for arguably, if no, not even arguably. He's the best third baseman in baseball.
Yeah.
And you got him. The Cardinals got him for John Torres and like who's a decent.
I don't even know who the guys are. I don't know who they are.
MLB The Show, but like the rest of these guys, even if they turn out to be decent prospects, it's like get a guy who you know is good. Like I was expecting Paul DeJong to be a part of that trade. I was expecting Matthew Liberatore to be a part of that trade, and they didn't even have to give up. I don't even think they gave up a top.
I don't think so.
5 prospect in their organization.
Probably because they just took on a lot of money. That's probably why.
But they did take on a lot of money, but that's Nolan Arenado. There's no cap in baseball. So if you're the Rockies, if you're paying his entire salary, then fine. I need one premium prospect, and then sure, the rest we can figure it out. But at least give me one premium prospect that I can at least insert as a part of the future of my organization. But
yeah,
to just have like 4 decent prospects, and I'm still giving you $50 million, and he gets to keep all the natures of his contract. Like the Cardinals win this deal hands down. I don't care if all 4 of these guys turn out to be all-stars. You get the best third baseman in baseball for prospects.
Yeah, I would have to agree. But since we're talking about moves, right? Another guy signed a contract, was acquired by the Phillies. We're talking about Didi Gregorius. Listen, I think you feel the same way about me on this. I'm not one of those Yankee fans. I respect the hell out of Didi Gregorius first time with the Yankees. But there's no way they should have re-signed him this offseason. And I'm glad all these rumors are like can die now. Because all I've seen on Twitter all offseason was, oh, bring back Didi, bring back Didi, bring back Didi. Like, no. Like, that ship has sailed.
Yeah. No,
it's the Titanic.
I don't think the Didi rumors ever made any sense. I don't even think there were any real Didi rumors with substance. I think a part of it was just the Yankees maybe had a little contact with his agent just in case they lost DJ, and Simmons didn't work out and things kind of fell through. It would have been a nice little reunion if that would have happened, but that's the worst case scenario. Once we re-signed DJ, there was no chance of us getting Didi or Simmons or any of those guys. Glaber was going to be our shortstop. So this shouldn't really come as a shock to anyone. I think the Didi rumors were kind of annoying at some point.
Annoying, bro.
There was no way that was happening.
Stupid as hell. Yeah. But I guess moving on from the whole Didi thing, because there's nothing much to really say about it. I mean, what do you get? Like 2 years, $28 million. Yeah. I think it's a solid deal for both sides. Let's see.
Arenado perform out of course field.
We'll get to that. Cashman was not wrong. He was 100% right on the money. Gary couldn't perform either. He does something this upcoming season or send his backs back. And yeah, I think we kind of touched on this in the Gary episode. I was like, I'm not going to give up on him just yet. I'm going to give him 2021 for the benefit of the doubt. But if Gary Sanchez has another putrid year this year, actually, he's gone. Like, they're definitely going to move on. Like, they're not going to take 2 straight awful seasons, because we're not even talking about bad seasons. We're talking about awful seasons from Gary Sanchez. So yeah, after this season, I think they'll move on if he sucks again.
Yeah, I think it should have been after this season, but I mean, I guess you give him the benefit of the doubt. Shortened season.
Yeah.
New pitching staff, didn't have the full spring training to figure everything out. I get it.
Yeah.
And he's obviously shown that he's a great talent in the past, so I guess they're banking on that. But I've been far off the Gary train for a long time, so
yeah.
I hope he proves all of us wrong.
So after the Arenado deal, do you think that this is like a complete sell-off for Colorado? Like, do you think trades for Story, Blackman, Marquez, do you think those deals are coming, or they're just gonna like settle for dealing Arenado and that's it?
I think it should. I think Marquez is a guy. I think Marquez is pretty young, so I wouldn't say that they're. I'm not completely sure that they're going to trade him.
I'm not completely sold on him though either.
Neither. I wouldn't. I know a lot
Yankee
of,
fans love him.
I don't know why. I think
Neither do I.
I like guys from Coors Field from the Rockies because if they can pitch in Coors Field, most likely they can pitch anywhere else. But I think that whole thing is kind of overrated, mainly because Yankee Stadium is a hitter's ballpark just as much as any ballpark in the league. So I don't know. I feel like guys like that, they come to New York and they perform decently, and I don't want to give up a big package for a guy who, is not going to be a game changer. He's a nice rotational piece. He's a really good pitcher, but I think he's going to be a guy that the Rockies hold on to and try to develop. And it's really hard for them to sign free agent pitchers because it's Coors Field. So I don't see that, but I could see Story getting moved maybe during the season at the trade deadline or next
Possibly,
offseason. I don't know about this offseason. It's already kind of late, and it took them a while to deal Arenado.
Trevor Story is a stud.
He's so good, but I think the package for, unless they're already in talks, but I don't think Trevor Story moves until next offseason or maybe the deadline when guys, there's possible injuries and stuff like that.
Going back to the comment you brought up before, do you think he's going to perform well outside of Coors Field? Because, I guess I know, George, you didn't really ask for my opinion. You just said Jay Lonzo, but I'll give my opinion anyway. I think that Nolan Arenado is just that guy. He's just going to boss out wherever he goes. He's not one of those, only hits in Coors Field. He's going to go wherever he goes, and he's just going to hit. I know he had kind of a down season in Arenado standards in 2020, but the dude's still an absolute tank. I wouldn't be concerned whatsoever.
No, I definitely I don't think Arenado has that problem. And I see people saying Trevor Story's a free. Yeah, so if they're going to deal him, it should be at the deadline or now. But
is he actually?
Yeah, he's a part of that. I forgot. He's a part of that free agent shortstop, the best shortstop class.
I remember when the dude first made his debut, bro.
That's great. But I mean, think about it though. But they're gonna obviously, if they're selling, they should try to unload him now. Why just let him walk for nothing? If you're already trading Arenado, what's the point of keeping Story, potentially losing him?
I agree.
If he's a free agent after this season, then why let him his value diminish and only because you're only gonna get him for a couple months if you trade for him, and he's gonna be a rental. So why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have expected them to trade Story over Arenado, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Arenado was dealt. I didn't see that coming. But then again, not official yet, so you never know. Yo, Futai, what's going on tonight, Futai? How we doing?
I want to know Futai. Is Futai his real name?
Imagine his real name is Futai. That's kind of a badass name.
Pretty cool name.
Kind of a badass name. Maybe we sign Chaz Rowe. I would like Chaz Rowe. He was on the Rays last year, I think.
Yeah. I want a guy that throws hard. I want
Trevor Rosenthal.
I want a Rosenthal. I want a Garrett. I want somebody like that. I don't want another
Amir Garrett, bro. After that podcast, I really want Amir Garrett now.
I don't want another. We have Darren O'Day. I don't want an experiment with another Adam Ottavino. Whoops.
Nice alarm.
I don't want to experiment with Adam Ottavino type guy anymore. I think that Chaz Rowe is literally Adam Ottavino.
Yeah.
And his fastball is a little slower. That's about it.
I mean, kind of breaking off from the baseball topic right now, just because your alarm went off. I think it's a fair conversation. Which sound is that?
I think it's just called the.
Is that just the generic one? Because I don't know if I'm kind of a psychopath for this, but I use the ducks.
Yeah, you're a little. Yeah, that's.
Because for me, it's
Matter of fact, I have to talk about this off air because I feel like that's a deeper discussion that we need to have.
No, but hear me out. It's so annoying that it forces me to wake up. I picked the most annoying sound they had, and it's just the quacking ducks.
To me, that one is the most annoying because it's
yeah, okay, it's fair.
Like you're in a war. I don't know. I have to turn that off immediately. Sometimes
whatever floats your boat.
I turn it off prematurely, and I just don't even do it. I set my alarm for it.
All right. Moving on outside of the iPhone alarm discussion. Jay, we know you're Lindor's friend. Is Lindor going to sign the extension?
I think eventually he'll sign with the Mets.
Yeah, right.
I think I think he probably wants to see how things go with them a little bit first, which is fair. But because sometimes things like this don't work out the way everyone thinks it's going to work out. Not that they're like a super team or anything, but they did bring a lot of new pieces. They have their manager, who was just an interim manager last year, in Luis Ross. So I mean, I think he's going to really love New York. Hopefully, the fans can come back. But my thing is, I don't think he signs an extension this offseason or during the season. I think he's going to wait.
It'll be next year.
Huh?
You think he's going to wait to hit the market?
I think he wants to test out the market. I think a guy like Lindor, he's been in Cleveland his whole career. And yeah, they had a little bit of success. But for the most part, his teams have been disappointments. Even when they made the playoffs, like they were within a couple of outs of winning the World Series. And then after that, it was just like losing to the Yankees, losing to the Astros, losing to the Red Sox, like just constant disappointment. So I think maybe he wants to see how other teams value him for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he got a lot of excitement from this trade, and I think that's probably going to make him want to test the market a little bit more.
Yeah.
And maybe a team like the Dodgers just throws a boatload of money at him and makes him think a little bit. So I'm sure he'll test it. I'm sure he'll take some interviews and some ballpark tours. But I do think eventually he'll end up re-signing long-term with the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about thinking about things, I mean, you kind of like walked me into this transition, so I appreciate that. Matt Finch is an absolute beast. Like, bro, he puts these comments in the chat, and I don't think I've ever disagreed because they're always so thought-provoking, and like they're always what I'm thinking. So let me read this one. With Gary's numbers last year, I don't know what else Cashman could have said. However, Cashman and Boone are both publicly consistently saying he's the guy behind the plate this coming year. If Sanchez can't take those comments, considering the indisputable results, there's no coming back. I mean, throw it to him in an interview. Do you, Gary, believe that last year was successful? Yo, Matt Finch, bro. Like,
that was beautifully said.
Beautiful comments, 24/7. If we should have like, maybe we'll do this at like the end of the offseason. We'll do like an Unhinged like offseason like award show just for like members of the chat. Like, oh, funniest comments or like most toxic or like, you know what I mean? Most thought-provoking. Matt, you already won that, bro.
Well, I think that's a good point because it's a double-edged sword because I think Gary might say – he did say that he didn't understand why he was benched. But I also think like he made a good point about how Cashman and Boone publicly has up until this point have backed Gary as the guy. So it kind of just leaves you in limbo of wondering like why, if they think he's the guy, why are they interested in a guy like Yadi Molina? So is he really the guy, or is he just you couldn't match up financially with another catcher, or you couldn't find a trading partner? It's just I don't like when they tiptoe around these things. That's why I'm glad Cashman said what he said. We all know Gary was horrible. You don't have to give us the whole, we think last year was he's been bad for a little while now. So if you think he can improve, then that's one thing. But this is not a fluke. Gary has regressed his talent a lot since he came up and showed us what he showed us in the beginning. He has not hit nearly as well. His defense has been terrible. He still has a good arm, I guess, for whatever that's worth. But if he can't catch the ball to begin with, it doesn't matter who he can throw out.
Yeah.
He's almost an automatic out when he's at the plate. And he got benched for 31-year-old Kyle Higashioka.
Wait, he's not 31, is he?
Google it.
Kyle Higashioka's 31 years old?
Google it.
30. He's going to be 31 this year.
So 30-year-old Kyle Higashioka.
That's great, bro. Kyle Higashioka's older than Gary. And
against the biggest games of the year, against great pitching, you got benched. It's not even like Kyle Higashioka is a lefty and hits righties better. No, Nick Snell started game one, and instead of you starting, your backup catcher, who's a career minor league catcher, started over you. And not only did he start over you, he hit a home run in a bomb too. Like it was
off Blake Snell, right?
Blake Snell.
Yeah.
No Yankee fan was questioning why he was starting. Everyone understood why.
I kind of wanted him to start too.
Exactly. When your ace is the guy that you invested $345 million in wants to pitch to your backup over you, it's kind of an issue. I understand the whole personal
No,
catcher,
yeah.
but it's not like we have like Jorge Posada was a great catcher. AJ Burnett just preferred Jose Molina.
Yeah.
Gary Sanchez, like the reason why Garrett Cole has a personal catcher is because Gary Sanchez like cost him strikes and like stolen bases. So
yeah,
that's an issue.
I agree. Comment from George. Toss up Pat and Jay. Who's the next piece the Yankees get in this offseason? Will it be a pitcher or a hitter? I guess I'll go first. As much as this pains me to say, you might agree with me on it. I think Brett Gardner is the next guy to come back to the Yankees.
I'm gonna surprise you on this, and I think you'll like it. I don't think this. I want to say this, but I don't know if it's necessarily
Say
true.
it. Say it.
I don't know if the Yankees re-signed Brett Gardner. Like
I always knew Jalen was my favorite. Always.
Here's my thing is like listening to what Cashman had to say in the press conference. I feel like he's really committed to not spending like an idiot anymore. Sometimes that pains us where we don't get a Kyle Hendricks and instead we trade for a guy who hasn't pitched since 2018, which I'm excited about. I think Talian's going to be good, but and then we signed Corey Kluber for $11 million just from watching his bullpens. However, I think from what he said, I think he's really sold on Clint Frazier being our guy in left field. And I think he knows we can't keep giving Gardner $10 million, $8 million. Like,
I know.
At some point, this whole lifelong Yankee thing is a little overplayed. And
it's been overplayed for like 5 years now.
Longer than that. I think he knew when he couldn't get out of the Tech situation without him retiring, without A-Rod retiring.
I'm just talking about like Gardner.
Oh,
like,
no, yeah,
specifically, yeah.
100%. I think when he started seeing it with those guys and it kind of was affecting how he could manage the team in like that 2013, 14, those years, he started feeling the weight of it. And I don't think he wants to deal with that anymore. So
yeah.
I think the reason if Gardy was going to resign for sure 100%, he would have been resigned already, in my opinion, because I think he's the final piece of this offseason. I think maybe they get one more reliever.
That would be solid.
For cheap, maybe like a Shane Green, or hopefully we can make a trade for like Amir Garrett, but that's, we'll see. But I think they maybe get one more bullpen arm, but I think if Gardy was 100% going to be back, he would be back already. I'm not saying he won't. I just don't think it's 100%. I think Gardy wants a lot of money or more money than we want to give him. So the Yankees might be in that little limbo mode of like, listen, we're not giving you more than 2.5.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that. But listen, I see a comment here, and it kind of like reminds me of like what I mentioned earlier. Gardy $1 million, if not, get out of here. I said that once Ryan Zimmerman signed with the Nationals, 1 year, $1 million. I think, like, I don't know why Brett Gardner can't do that, because I would say it's a pretty similar situation. Ryan Zimmerman isn't necessarily bad. He didn't play last year, I think, because of COVID. But in 2019, he was a key part of them winning the World Series. So I think that he's taking one for the team in the sense that he's made a shit ton of money over his career, and he knows that it doesn't really matter at this point. So he's going to take 1 year, $1 million, just to be a veteran presence on that team, as the Yankees claim Brett Gardner is, right? So if he's that key veteran presence and he's not re-signing to be a starting guy and be a key piece in the offense, then I don't see an issue with one year, $1 million. I looked at Brett Gardner's career earnings the other day. I believe it's close to $80 million.
That's crazy.
So if we're talking, Brett, if you're going to sign a $5 million deal, you could take a $4 million pay cut and just take one.
Yeah, and I also think it's also a similar situation because you have a guy like Josh Bell going to Washington. Zimmerman's not going to start. They don't even know if there's going to be a DH. So he knows his role is going to be like insanely diminished. So you look at Clint Frazier starting as the left fielder for the Yankees going to 2021. So why can't that be the same deal that Gardy gets? I don't think that he's going to probably get like at least two, just because Cashman loves him some Gardy. But
I think it's because they look alike. He might be like Cashman's like long lost son, low key.
Well, I think, but the thing is like he has a $2.5 million buyout. So whatever he gets, it's plus 2.5.
Yeah,
so it is one mil. He's technically getting 3.5. So I don't remember what his original contract. I think it would have been 9. Was it 9 if he did? If he
I think it would have been 10.
So anything above like, no, I think it was 9 because
Was it?
if we said if it was anything above 7, what was the point of him?
Oh, of the buyout. Yeah.
What was the point? I know that maybe like that's 2.5 off the financial. What is it called?
The yeah.
Maybe that, but like
I hate the financial side of baseball. It's so confusing.
it doesn't make sense because if we're gonna do all this, just give us a salary cap. Like
I know. It's so complicated. Like the whole like 1 year if you're over, then you got to pay like a 20% tax. Next year, then it's like 30. Next year it's 50. Like I don't get it.
So, and you get draft picks taken away and all that stuff.
Brian can sign his own money, Gardner, to go wave those homemade bandanas.
Sure.
We know Brian wants to wave those bandanas. Right when Brett Gardner resigns, he's gonna come on live all by himself. I'm gonna give him free reign to the account, and he's gonna come on. He's gonna be waving the bandanas and the flags. Let's see what other questions we got. Matt Finch, I think Gardy will take low money. The more valuable thing he'd be taking up isn't on the financial side; it's a spot on the 26-man roster. Matt, I would have to agree with you, bro.
Okay, here's the thing. I disagree with the last part. I think don't get me wrong, I think he is taking up a valuable spot.
But that's because you hate Mike Tauchman.
I despise Mike Tauchman.
Exactly, so that's why.
I think I could put together better at-bats in a minute than Mike Tauchman.
He was good in 2019, though.
He was, but so was the entire Yankee roster somehow. Like
they were probably cheating. I don't know.
Maybe. But like I think that unless you're bringing in a guy like Joey Gallo or somebody like that who's going to be an impact starter, there's really nobody else out there for us to get that would have been a bench piece.
I wanted Michael Brantley, bro.
But even Brantley we would have had to trade him. You know that. So
I know.
I think
I would have done it though. I would have done it.
But I'm just saying, like, it would have had to be a Brantley. It would have had to be a Gallo. One of those type of guys would have been your starting left fielder.
Yeah.
And then you fill in the rest of the roster with other types of guys, or maybe you leave Clint on the bench. Hope that he doesn't get too pissed off and say next year maybe. But
Clinton would actually he'll start banging the dugout.
No, yeah, but no,
that would just be disgusting if they bench Clint.
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think Gardy is taking away a valuable spot from anyone. There's no one that's maybe you can say Florio. Maybe you want him instead of Gardy, but Gardy had a nice little end to the year. If he's a bench player, he's a bench player, and just leave it at that. But there's no one really taking the spot.
Are we retiring his number though, Jalen?
Yeah, okay. No, I'm sure he'll come back for old time. He's a long-time Yankee. That's great. But
yeah,
you don't have to.
No, I respect him. It's just it's like the Didi situation. Like, bro, your time has come and gone.
Yeah,
it's time to move on. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap things up for us tonight. I appreciate everyone for sticking around. I will be going live on Twitch tonight. I know I said it the other night and I just didn't go live, but we are going live tonight. Twitch.tv/Unhinged New York. Just put the link in the chat. I'll probably talk some Yankee stuff on there since I know I missed a lot of questions tonight. I don't know. We'll probably play GTA or Warzone or something. You guys know the deal.
Wow.
But yeah, bro, I'm a Twitch streamer now. I'm a Twitch, bro. Come at me. But yeah, solid. Appreciate everyone for sticking around tonight. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Check out our YouTube channel, Unhinged Yankees. Me and Jalen have a podcast on there. We're gonna be talking about Amir Garrett possibly coming to the Yankees. So yeah, once again, appreciate all of you for watching. We will see you maybe tomorrow night on live. If not, we'll see you on the podcast tomorrow. I think we're gonna wrap it up with Brian waving the bandanas tonight. I think it's fair, right? All right, we'll see you guys next time and have a good night, everybody. Hopefully, see you on Twitch in 5 minutes. Peace.
We cannot wait until Brett Gardner's number is retired. It's just he's gonna be in the festival.